There are three things a gay always needs.
Craziest thing happened to me today.
We gotta know the tea. We gotta keep the tea. We gotta be the best friend.
Guess who I saw on the dating app the other day?
I'm so glad that phones cannot talk, because if my phone could talk, the secrets that it would tell.
Wow, I really was blessed with good looks. Like, look at me.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Good Day Gay. I'm Russell Ray along with my co-host, Paulie B. What's up, Paulie B?
Hey, how are you? I was just like vibing to our new intro, and I'm literally sitting next to a mirror right now. There's a mirror right next to me, and you know the part where I'm like, I really have good looks. Like I'm looking at myself in the mirror, just thinking like, I really have good looks.
Look, live your life. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody
Yes,
out there.
I was gonna say it's Australian Valentine's Day today. Um, and I'm gonna be spending it with my friends. We're gonna go to, I took the day off of work today. We're gonna go to Live Golf, which is like a golf tournament that's hosted here in Australia. But Daddy
Fun.
Dom Dollar is DJing tonight. So we'll go there and dance to Daddy Dom Dollar.
Daddy Dom Dollar. Wow.
Well, his name is Dom Dollar, but everyone refers to him as like Daddy Dom.
Is he
You
a daddy?
probably, oh, I mean, he has a mo which gives him a daddy
Okay.
complex,
Okay.
but yeah, he's like, I don't know if you've heard of him out there in LA. He's an Aussie DJ.
I have not, but I will definitely look into him, because now my interest is piqued and I'm very intrigued by this.
By Daddy Dom.
And you know what? Sometimes that could be toxic when you're in love with a daddy. So today we bring you the episode Toxic or Tough Love, Friendships That Cross the Line. And ones that don't. Ones that
Ooh.
are very well supportive, because sometimes it is just tough love. So let's get right into it. Paul, have you ever had a moment where you've had to give a friend tough love? And have you ever received toxic advice? Have you ever received toxic advice in a sense of there was a sense of jealousy behind it?
I feel like first I want to go into like just different types of friendships first, because I feel
Mm,
like different types of like outlining the different types of friendships could then influence the things that we talk about, or be able to like, not my finger like jarred together. For those like watching on YouTube, or for those who are listening to Spotify, jarred my finger last night at touch rugby, and so they're like taped together. They got a buddy system going on. This is my Valentine's Day, guys. My fingers taped together. That's my Valentine's Day. Um, so I watched this really interesting video on YouTube, or on Instagram Reels the other week, and it was basically saying that you've got three types of friends. So you've got your leaves, your branches, and your roots.
hmm
So your leaves are like your seasonal friends. They're along for the ride. They're around when it's convenient for them or when it's valuable for them. But if like a storm comes, they're just literally going to fly off. Like they'll fly away.
Mm.
So those are your leaves. And then you've got friends that are also branches. So branches are in between leaves, they're in between roots. They're there for you, but you don't know if you can like hang on them, because if you were to hang on them, they'll just break. Like they'll just break off.
Okay.
Um, Whereas you've got your roots, and your roots are your friends that are there through the thick of it all. They're deep friendships. They're like rooted deep. Like these friendships are your like darkest hour friends. Like you're literally, I don't know, gunpoint to the head. You're like calling this friend. But
Oh,
would you have a phone if you were gunpoint to the head? I don't know.
hell yeah. I always got my phone on me. If there's one thing that's not going to happen, is no one's going to have a gun to my head. I'm not going to have a phone. I'll tell you that.
But yeah, I
I'm
feel
like,
like so for
wait. Let me
sure.
just call and say goodbye to my friend. um, okay, good point. Good point. I,
So I feel like
I,
those are your three types of friendships. You know what I mean? So I think
yes.
when we talk toxic friendship, we're kind of like, what would this friend be a leaf? Do you know what I mean? Or
I
is
feel
this
like a
friend
toxic
a
friendship would
root?
be a leaf or a branch. I don't think
Yeah.
that they would be a root, because if they were a root, eventually you would. Well, sometimes they can be roots inadvertently.
And I think that's what we need to dive into today.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So, what was your
Oh,
question?
is there a counselor that available? Anybody, anywhere? Please call in at this time.
I like,
Have you ever had to give tough love, and have you ever received toxic advice or toxic comments from a friend, and you had to double think it in the sense of, oh, this has nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with you. You're 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 throwing your own self-doubt or selflessness on me.
yeah. Oh my gosh. No, there is like in my mind, I know that there's an example that I've got, but it's just literally not coming to mind right now. It's like 8 a.m. here in Adelaide right now. You and I we are making sure that this podcast happens, so I'm also half asleep at the moment.
Honey,
um
dedication,
we are
okay?
dedicated to our listeners. I do have one story which is also kind of funny. I guess two stories. So I hate to let people down, if that makes sense. So there
Hmm.
was one point in my life where I had just moved into a really big role, like a massive role. I was basically like a lead finance person within organization, and it was a big role for me. It was massive to be able to move into this role and to get the experience that that role offers. Um, and I was busy. I was going into work at like 7 a.m. I was leaving the office at 7 p.m. And it's just because I was the one singular finance person that had to put together everything, have the meetings with the executive, basically do a lot. So I was constantly on the go. That was the year as well, my first year being single out of my relationship. So I was
Hmm.
also trying to invest into friendships as well by I joined the gay rugby team. Shout out to the Adelaide Uni Sharks. Um,
Hey.
I joined the gay rugby team to I guess make more friends. So I was really trying to invest in my career as well as invest in friendships as a newly single person, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, because I was so busy all the time, I tend to had maybe double booked or forgot things. Um, so there was one friend that her and her family had become Australian citizens, and they had like an Australian citizens celebration party. I was at home working away, like I literally was still working at home, and I get a text message from her, and she was like, "Hey, are you coming to the party? Like you said that you were going to come." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like I'm literally still working away. Work's been crazy, like it's just been a tough week, or it's been a tough like month since I've started this role." And she was like, um, she didn't respond in the night from memory. And then maybe a few days later, she just responded and said, "Hey, I was a bit upset that you didn't come to the party. You're one of my closest friends since I moved here to Australia. Like, my kids love you, my husband love you. Like, I'm a bit upset that you didn't make it or that you forgot about it." Um, and I did say to her, "I'm so sorry. Like, work has just been crazy. It's just taken over my life. I've got a whole lot of other stuff going on. I'm honestly very sorry that I forgot about it." But it was in that moment where I just thought, like, I don't like to let people down. Like, if I tell people I'm going to be there for them, I hate letting them down. And so that was like a reflection moment for me to be like, if I'm going to be that friend that's there for people, like I have to be there for them. And so from that day forward, so like, thank you, Sam, for like calling me out. Um, from that day forward, I literally live in my calendar. So that's why I'm that friend that's like always reaching out to my friends, being like, "Are you free on the 17th of March at 10 a.m.?" And then they're like, "Girl, the 17th of March is in a month." And I'm like, "I know, but I'm looking at my calendar and every weekend leading up to there is taken. So if you want to hang out, like I'm telling you now, this is the next time that I'm free to catch up. Like, yes, I do live a bit of my life spontaneously, but at the same time, like I have a lot of friends, and so I need to manage my calendar, or else I'm gonna double book and I'm gonna let people down and I'm gonna be a shit friend. Like I really try my best to be like a friend to others that I want to be to me, if that makes sense. So I
Mhm.
guess that was a moment where I was called out for being like, can you manage your time better? Like, and then in that moment I was like, fuck, like, sorry, why am I swearing so much? Um,
Are you
in
American this morning? He is American this morning.
maybe when I'm like, half asleep, haven't been to the gym yet, like, yeah,
Look, let me
maybe,
just explain to the
maybe.
people. I'm so sorry. Like, so I look, y'all know that I got this new hosting gig. So basically, what happened is last minute, they're like, we need you to be part of this event. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I texted Paul as soon as I found out. And I'm like, yo, I got bad news. And so, like, I didn't know I was supposed to be there later than the original time that I was supposed to be there. So I wasn't supposed to be there in my mind. And originally, what was communicated to me, I wasn't supposed to be there until like 5 or 6. So I was like, perfect. We can shoot. I can get in the car. We can go. And then it was like, surprise, you have to be there at 3:30, which means I have to leave my house at like 1:45 in order to get there. And so I'm like, oh my God, Paul, I'm like, I'm not gonna wake you up that early in California. Like, it's just not gonna happen. So yes, so that happened. So this is why we are today. I'm in Hawaii right now because I had to come out here for something else. And it's just we are all over the place. So with that being said, I started using the calendar myself because I'm like, which you and I need to share calendars so we can make sure that we're planning
No, you can't see my
accordingly.
calendar because then
Yes,
you'll,
I need to see
if
your
you see
calendar.
my calendar, you'll see like catch up with this boy, catch up. Nah, no, I'm not like that. I'm not like that.
Grinder, sniffies, scrub.
Ah.
Okay, so you would say that
Uh,
that was a tough love situation where Sam had to tell you this is the situation and this is where I feel you dropped the ball.
yes, and the other example that I've written down in my notes is like,
I have a toxic example, but go ahead, go
okay,
ahead.
I find this one hilarious, and my friends and I laugh about it now. Um, Again, sorry for the swearing, but me and my friend, we're a good group of friends. These are like my gays. I would classify them as roots within roots. I would classify them as rooted friendships within my life. Um, and the name of our group chat is called Friendship Fuck. Um,
Oh.
so the way there is like some nuances in the group where it's like one of us used to hook up with another person and then now they've got a boyfriend, and it does have that gay friendship nuance, but we're all genuinely friends. Like there is a couple in our group, but we're all genuinely friends. And there was one time where we were at World Pride, the World Pride that I met you at.
Yeah, yeah.
um and I just remember we were in this circle and we just like were so in love with each other, like as friends. And I remember we just literally started yelling to each other, like chanting, like friendship, fuck, friendship, fuck. I don't know. Yeah. But it's stuck, and that's the name of our group chat now. And I'll try not to swear anymore. Um, so,
Girl,
so
is this
there
a toxic lesson or a tough love lesson? You're
so
losing me.
So this year in New Year's, we like the group said that we would go out together, like to celebrate New Year's Eve.
Yes.
That day in Adelaide was a hot day, and I was keen to go to the beach, and I wanted to go to the nude beach because I don't personally get nude at the nude beach, but I just love the nude beach here in South Australia because it's insanely beautiful. The
Mhm.
water is so still. Like it's one of the most beautiful beaches in South Australia. Um, and I was like, hey, like it's a really awesome day today. Do you guys want to go down to Maslin's Beach before we head out tonight for drinks? And then the couple in the group go, oh, we're actually heading down there already, but we're going with another friend, and that other friend doesn't want anyone else to come with us. And I was
Oh,
like, oh, okay, well, fuck me then. And then I messaged the other guy in the group and was like, hey, the other boys don't want us to go to the beach with them. Like, do you still want to come to the beach? We'll just go do our own thing. So we did that. And
Uh-huh.
then later that afternoon, my other friend in the group who is insanely, he's always known for being late, like always late. Like if you were thinking about wanting him to be on time, he's never going to be on time, and he's
I feel
getting
like
better
that's
at it.
me.
So I'm telling you now, like, and if he's listening to this, you are getting better at it. But he he
Friendship
he was the
canceled.
one. You know who you are. You know who you are. um he was the one in the group chat that was being like, hey guys, what are we doing for pre-drinks? What time are we starting? Are you ready? Blah blah blah. um and I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I just literally need to put on my outfit and I'm ready to meet up. We weren't hearing from the couple.
Oh
And
no.
then yeah, and then and then the couple all of a sudden started blowing up in the group chat being like, yeah, we're ready, where's everybody? Polly, where you at? Blah blah. And then I just didn't respond. I'm just sitting there on my couch, like drinking my tequila and soda, just like,
Eddie.
I'm gonna enjoy this moment by myself, listening to Daddy Dom Dollar play on YouTube. Like, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy it. And then I was a little bit petty in that moment because I was like, I'll wait for one more message. And then, and this is another lesson in me. Like, if you bring me to my petty side, I'm fucking petty. Again, apologies for the swearing. Um,
I'm right there with you. My friend used to call me Petty LaBelle because I was so damn petty. Okay.
so,
Petty boosts the house down.
so then they finally messaged me again and was like, Polly, like, where you at? Are you coming to pre-drinks? And I got there. And then I got to the place and they were like, sorry, I need a cough.
Just look, we've been fighting. Paul and I have both been fighting these chest coughs for like 3 weeks because something in the world is going on. I think he
Literally
gave
in
it
the
to me
world.
through the microphone or something, and
Literally
so
in the world.
there I was dying last week. I
So
think tequila fixed me though, but we'll talk about that
I
later.
love tequila. Um, maybe I'm like just getting so excited telling this story. So I walked in the door and like one of my friends were like, so sorry we're late. I'm so sorry we're not organized, like gave me a hug. And I was like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, and then like I sort of like, chilled down and like got better and I was like, you guys know I'm not mad. Like, I would never be mad at you. I love you guys. Like, you're my best friends. Like, I would never be mad at you. But if y'all are fucking, just
Oh,
put it into the group chat. Okay? None of this ignoring us in the group chat. None of this like, hey, like you can't come with us to the beach, or hey, like we're not sure what time pre-drink starts. Like, don't beat around the bush. If y'all are fucking, put it in the group chat. Like, and that was me just telling my friends, like, if we're gonna be friends, tell the truth.
so that was another tough love moment.
Yeah, but it was
I feel
me
like you
giving
don't
it to
really have
them.
any toxic. I feel like you don't have any toxic interactions. Like from what you've told me, for as long as I've known you, I've never heard of a toxic interaction. Like,
See, and this is like, I thought about that as well because I even
mhm,
said to my therapist the other day, where I was like, she was really like encouraging me to go deep with the thought and to like really get into the emotion of it all. And I kind of said to her, I was like, I can't think of an example where someone would talk bad about me. And again, if you're listening to this and you have something bad to say about me, like, I would appreciate to know that. Um, because I also like working on myself and developing on myself.
mhm.
Um, but
I don't.
like I but I do think about what you said, and I just don't associate myself with those people.
Mhm.
Like, I'm even to the point where I tell my friends, like, hey, you're my best friend, you're one of my best friends, you know that I love you, and I'm just gonna be honest with you right now. I can't deal with your friends. Like, I can deal with you, but I can't deal with your friends. Like, that's why I kind of like, veer off to the side a little bit and just
I
hang
think that's
around the
fair.
side. Like,
I think that's
I
fair.
just don't, I don't put myself in those situations. So I
Yes.
don't think that because I don't put myself in those situations, I don't have toxic friendships. Do you know what I mean? So I think if we were to talk toxic friendships, I'm going to hand the microphone to you.
You shady bitch. You know what? Have
Toxic
a
baby,
great
shady
day.
baby.
Your microphone is muted now. Thank you so much. Do you want to talk about toxic girl? We toxic now. Now she's back. Okay. I
Uh,
got the master controls on this end.
you know what? Yeah, you're the
Toxic friendships,
main.
here we come.
I love you.
Okay.
You know that I love you.
So before we get into the toxic friendships, I wanna give y'all the top 5 major red flags of a toxic
Yes.
friendship. So
Yes,
the
I
first
love
one is
this,
the
by the way.
frenemy factor. The frenemy factor is when a friend is low key competing with you. So you're doing better than them. You have something that they want. So they're trying to, in America, we call it a one upper. So they're trying to one up you to let you know they're just as good, if not better. The second one is the one sided friendship. You're the person that's always the one giving but never receiving, meaning you're always buying drinks, you're taking them out to dinner, or you're picking up the bill and it's never reciprocated. The third one is the emotional dumping ground. Are you a therapist or are you a friend? So sometimes, which I feel like this is a little bit of a gray area. Like sometimes you just need to let out a little steam. You don't need to go to therapy. But if you're consistently doing it and you're consistently addressing this issue with your friend, and even if it's not anything to do with them, but my life is so horrible. I have a terrible this, I have a terrible that. Then I think this is the time where a friendship needs to have a little bit of tough love of you need to go see a counselor because I'm not your
Mm,
counselor
mm.
because that eats at your person. That's a downer. That can bring you all the way down when you're in a good mood. So there's that one. Number 4, the public shade thrower. The person who has to make a joke or an intentional dig at you in a public setting so that you're the butt of the joke. And number 5, the disappearing act, which is what you said earlier, is the leaves. They're there for the highs, but missing when you need them the most during your lows. So I want to address because the toxic story that I have. Oh, if these alerts do not stop going off on my computer, the the toxic one friendship that I had to let go. I actually let this go last year.
Yeah.
Um, so there was I'm not even going to say who this person is, but I'm just going to say this
No,
person.
don't.
All right. So this
Yeah, of
person,
course.
it was one sided. I wouldn't say they threw publicly shade, but they were always throwing shade within our conversations at me, and then they disappear for sure. So basically, we kind of about 2.5 years ago, we started kind of our friendship kind of started dissolving because there was a lot of disconnect.
Yeah.
Most recently, it was in Pride around June. And we're on the phone. Hey, how are you? We're doing good. Da, da, da. How are you? Well, we're doing good over here too. Then it was switch. Um, gosh, I'm so sick and tired of seeing all of this pride stuff all over the place. Like, do you and live your life, but like I don't want it thrown down my throat. Like I don't need to be seeing that everywhere that I turn. Like just live your life and no one cares how you live your life, right? And so I'm thinking to
But
myself,
just to confirm, this friend of yours is also part of the community, like they identify as gay.
no, no, no,
Okay,
no, no,
so
no,
they don't identify as gay. So that's also another thing to, I guess,
no.
factor into this, what you're saying right now. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And here's my thing. If you make me feel some type of way, uncomfortable, disrespected, and this is something that I've been working on because I know it's a toxic trait myself, but I will reciprocate that energy in the moment to make you feel how I'm feeling in that moment, just so you're aware of how I'm feeling, so you can feel the same way. Because you're not gonna throw me down and then have me feel bad about myself, or even try to do that. Now I'm gonna come at you, and you're gonna have to get it right. So my immediate
Yeah.
response was, oh, that's crazy because I feel the same way about this certain city that I come into every time and the church that's involved in this city because it's nothing but a bunch of holy rollers, a bunch of backstabbers, and no one who's actually living by the word of God. And the instant response was, be careful because that's my church and I don't need to, and you need to not be disrespecting my church. I said, well, that's crazy because you just disrespected my community.
Mm,
So
mm.
if you don't like it, you should probably keep your mouth shut. And I'm gonna say that church is the most toxic church. I've gone to 3 of their services. I went to 3 of their services during high school. The most toxic environment that you can step in. I've never seen more of a community. I was raised Catholic. This is not a Catholic church. I've never seen a community who's more inclined to judge you, dismiss you, not be there for you, and to shame you for being who you are. When this same community is filled with divorcees, multiple baby mamas, babies, daddies, no one's ever left the community and expanded their education or lived outside of this community. It's very much a cult, this church. And it was in that moment I realized this is not a beneficial friendship. Like you're never there for me. You don't show up for me when I need you. But then when I'm celebrating something of a major accomplishment and there's notoriety or free stuff to be offered, you're the first one to show up.
It's one-sided.
So me being me, I went into my phone and I deleted their number. So, and I was talking to my cousin the other day because I just turned 33, y'all.
Oh, happy birthday.
So I was talking to my cousin the other day because my cousin came over for my birthday. Thank you. And she was like, "Oh, do you talk to such and such anymore?" I was like, "No, I don't." Cut them off. They judge me in this. And her response was like, "Wow, you've known each other for like almost 20 years. And I said, I cut them off. She goes, "Did they reach out to you for your birthday?" I said, "Oh no, there's a bunch of numbers that text me for my birthday. And if you're not in my book or my contacts and you don't announce yourself, then I don't know who you are." Okay. So, and I'm probably not going to respond because my thing is, it's also toxic to keep that person in your contacts because there might be a moment of weakness where you're like, "Oh, I miss them." And it's really, you miss the idea of them. You don't actually miss the aspects of them. So I delete them out of my contacts so that I have no way of contacting them again.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know your number. I don't memorize the number. This is not 2000. This is not the 90s where you have to remember people's phone numbers. So you're out of my life. And so that was a moment of toxicity where I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. But there's also one of these red flags in a different situation. This is a different situation where I'm kind of okay with it. I feel like the competing frenemy can be beneficial to us if it's done in the right way. So if you know what they say, surround yourself by people you want to be like. So if there's people who are leveling up that you brought into your circle, and you're not at that level, but you're trying to get to that level, I feel like that competing factor is a beneficial because you're uplifting yourself. And then once you get there, if there's an opportunity for them, I would hope that you would realize they got me to this point. Let me help elevate them to something that maybe I have a contact in.
Exactly. And I don't think that's a case of competition, if that makes sense. Like, yes, you might be competing, but potentially competing with yourself to get to that level. And to get to that level, you're surrounding yourself with people at that level. Like, I don't see that as competing, but I see that as you surrounding yourself with people that build you up and lift you up. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, I totally get what you're saying, but yeah, yeah. I wouldn't class it as competing just because it's like you're really competing with yourself and you're using those friendships as like the driver to get the drive. I can't close my fingers. The driver to like get there. Um yeah, no, that's
You know
That's
what? I do have a question for you because this came up
yes.
yesterday
Okay.
in a group that I was speaking with. We're acquaintances. I'm not gonna say we're friends, like because we don't really know each other on a deeper level, but like we're nice. Like we run into each other. We run
Yeah.
into each other, and like I genuinely like these people, but we don't know each other on a deeper level. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
So we were talking about friends who share locations.
Hmm.
Is that a toxic trait, or is that a way of communicating with your friends inadvertently?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
is it a secure thing to do within your friendship group to have each other's locations?
I'm definitely I like to say that I live my life fueled by intentions, if that makes sense.
Mhm,
Like every act is driven by an intention. So if you're sharing your location with someone, there's an intention behind that, right? So
mhm,
if I think about the people I've got my location shared with, I know that there's three off the top of my head. There's my best friend Leah, my sister-in-law, and my cousin in New Jersey. So um yeah, the only reasons I've got my location shared with them. Oh, and I've also got my location shared with my friend Jesse in San Francisco. Um
okay.
like for Leah, it was because, well, I think I told the story like in one episode where I was going for a shady hookup and she was like, you need to share your location.
Yes.
She's my best friend now, so she's got my location, I've got her location. It's not like I always look and wonder where she is. The only time I really take notice of her location is when I'm like, bitch, you were supposed to be here like 10 minutes ago. So then I'm like looking at her location, like, okay, she's driving, she's on the way. So that's okay. Yeah, my sister-in-law was because I was, traveling overseas for 6 months, and she's like, "You need to share your location with me now," and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And it was the yeah, it was the same with my cousin, like, because my cousin came and visited in Australia, and then when I was staying with them in New Jersey, it was just helpful to have each other's location. And it was the same with my friend Jesse in San Francisco. So I feel like sharing your location is actually pretty personal. Like
Mhm,
if I were to look at my like list of who I'm sharing my location with and I go, are you rooted within my life? Yeah, you can stay there. Are you a branch or are you a leaf? Sorry, I'm not sharing my location with you anymore. Like that's just I'm a very guarded person. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve. I am friends with everyone. I talk to a lot of people, but only the people that I'm closest with really, really, really know me. And that's because I am a guarded person. So I'm the type of person like, if I don't know you and if I don't want to fuck with you, then I'm really American this morning, aren't I? If I don't want to fuck with you, then you're not having my location.
hey,
Like
New Yorker.
we're not friends on that level. No, 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 no,
So
no.
here's the other question. What about couples who, and I want to get back to friendships, but because we're on friendships now, but what about couples who share locations? Is that considered toxic?
I would say
I
again
feel
there
like it's a
needs
sense
to
of control.
yes, and I would say again that what's the intention behind it? Because
Hmm.
I go back to my most recent relationship 5 years ago, and I own my turn, I own my bad traits, and in that relationship, I was toxic, I was insecure, I was jealous. So if we didn't share location with each other, but if I ever asked him to share his location with me, I know that that would be coming from a place of insecurity and jealousy.
Hmm.
Um, so I think it depends. Like, is this couple sharing their location with each other out of control, insecure control, or are
Hmm.
they sharing their location with each other out of safety? Like, I know I've got one friend, and he said that he used to like his ex. So this friend of I don't even think he's a friend of mine anymore. Um, but this person that I knew, he's like an introvert and he doesn't really like to go out every single weekend. Whereas he told me that his ex was an extrovert and always wanted to go out every single weekend, and he was
Hmm.
okay with that. But he would just say like, "Let me know where you are," or like, "Let me know that you're safe," because we live in Colombia, like it's a little bit dangerous. Like
Hmm.
so, I think again, like I'm gonna go back to the answer to your question with what's the intention behind it? Are you insecurely trying to control the relationship? Or Are you like securely controlling the relationship and being like, this is coming from an intention of love, baby? Why
I
am
have
I
a
extra
question.
this morning?
I have a question for the audience. Is
Come on,
it
audience.
is it the ultimate betrayal if you are sharing locations with your friends and you unexpectedly stop sharing your location? What message does that send to you? Leave those in the comments below because I'm very interested in seeing this. Or if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, this would be a great moment to please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast.
Yes,
But
please.
also, you can DM us directly at Good Day Gay Podcast on Instagram. And you can let us know what your thoughts are on this. So, once again, the question is if you're sharing locations with your friend and you unexpectedly cut them off or you unexpectedly stop sharing your location with them, is that grounds for termination in your friendship? Or is that a toxic trait of a friendship? Or is it just you wanting privacy? Let us know. Give us an example if you got it. Because I also want to say I feel like that is a generational thing as well. Because one of the ladies that I ran
Mm.
into yesterday is well into her 50s, and she was like, I don't understand. Like my child shares her location with all of her friends, and I don't. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want everybody to know where you're at all the time? So me, I share my location with. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I was just checking. So I have people's locations, but I don't share my location with everybody. So, like my niece, for example, she's still young. My sister shared her location with all of her aunts and uncles in case something happens. We know where to find her, how to get to her fast. But she has not our location because you know how children could be like, "Oh, you're down the street. Can you come pick me up?" You know, stuff like that. And we need to
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
that boundary of you're your mother's child. If you want to come over, that's to your mother's discretion. I have two of my really good friends who I'm sharing locations with, and they're sharing their location with me because all three of us are constantly traveling for work. So
Mm.
we use it in a sense of let me check to see where they're at before I call them because they could either be in a different time zone or you know something of the essence. One of those two friends, I have the location because sometimes they end up in shady hookup situations. So it's more protection in case they go missing. I know where to last find them.
Yes.
Also, when we go out for the night, sometimes this one forgets to text me, and you know who you are after they make it home. And I'm like, let me know you made it home safe. Because sometimes, you know, you're leaving 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. And,
Yeah.
you know, people are out there driving crazy at that time, especially like young teenagers. I did a story on that in college of like drag racing at that hour. And it happens mostly between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m.
Cool.
So I always want to make sure my friends and my family get home safe. Um, One of my other friends that I share locations with is Swedish and is in Sweden at this time. And so sometimes he's not in Sweden, sometimes in a different country, sometimes he's in the States. So I have his location so that um, I can we can communicate effectively according
Mm.
to a time schedule. Kind of like you, but I don't have your location. So that's a bum that will after we get off this podcast. I'm just kidding though.
Yeah.
But so with that being said, I think sometimes in the gay community, we can run into a lot of the toxicity of friendships.
Yeah.
And like you said, you played rugby and like you've met a lot of good friends there. I played kickball because
Mm.
of the intent of I wanted to get to know my community better that I was living in. And then I realized I don't like a lot of mess. I don't like messy. I don't like. I just if I'm friends with you and I'm friends with, for example, Humby or Jake, right? Like our two
Mates
guests
of the
that we
pod.
have this, our two mates of the pod. And if you haven't watched those episodes, please go back and reference those. So if I'm friends with all three of you, me, and all three of you don't like each other because you have all hooked up or dated at some point, I
Yeah.
hate being the one of like, well, why are you talking to that person? Because I can. That's why. Just because you
Are
don't like this
you
person,
that type of person? Are you
what?
that person though that would be like, why are you talking to them?
No. but I've noticed I run into that a lot. Like, and sometimes
Yeah.
I'm just kind to the to multiple people. I don't necessarily interact with them and they're not welcome in my home. That's a different level of friendship for me. We can be very topical, but until I invite you to my home, which is nobody's business,
Mm.
then we are not on a deeper level. And I will allow you in my space accordingly. But just because I tell you hello at the gym or because I see you
Yeah.
out at the bar and I'm like, oh, like,
Yeah.
were you going to the bar to get a drink? Like, let's go. I'll get mine too at the same time. Catch up a
Yeah.
little bit. Cheers. I'm on my way. You're on your way. But I don't want to catch any flack because I'm having that
Yeah.
interaction because you have a problem with them.
And and I think that um everybody's got their own beliefs, everyone's got their own spiritualities, but I think at the end of the day, one thing that really speaks to the ebb and the flow of friendships and relationships is energy, if that makes sense. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think the universe has a crazy way of inviting in and taking out and keeping people in your life that are literally at your vibration. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Like it's crazy that, you and I, and maybe you and I are just amazing human beings, that the
Call me.
universe is call us. Um, but the universe is literally not allowing us to have
Hmm.
people within our lives that vibrate at a lower vibration. But I think you and I also don't allow that to happen, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like, we're literally saying that we're at points in our life where
Hmm.
we care about ourselves, we love ourselves, we look after ourselves, and we only want people in our lives that love themselves as well, or that vibrate at the same level as us or higher. Like,
Hmm.
I think it's crazy that the universe, like, sometimes you could really sit there and think, like, wow, like, I could have been friends with that person, but something happened which allowed me to realize that that's a toxic friendship. Like,
Hmm.
I think it's just, you get to a point in your life where you get really, and I think again this comes with age, like a lot of our listeners are in the 30s and above category. So, it
Gay
would be
millennials.
interesting, millennials, it would be interesting to know if our listeners and our viewers feel the same way, that as you got older and as you became more mature and more emotionally intelligent, like, do you allow, like, is it your choice as to what you're allowing into your life? Do you know what I mean? Like,
100%. It is. And I feel like
100%. And
some
that's,
people just don't understand because either this is how they were raised and they
yeah,
watched their elders continuously get stepped on and look past it
that's
and
it.
just continuously forgive. I fortunately was raised with a cutthroat mother who, if you did her dirty, she was like, I'm done with you. I also was raised by someone who is very selective of who we invite into our home.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
for anybody who's listening to this, if you know me personally and you have been invited into my home or you have stayed at my house, know that that is a deep level of care that I have for you because not everybody is welcome out. I'll be like, "Oh, that's cute. There's a hotel down the street. You can't drive home. I could drop you off and order you an Uber. You ain't staying here, baby. Okay? Because I'm
if
gonna have to
there's
walk
like
my wallet around you."
if there's like one takeaway from this episode about the viewers wanting to learn about Russell and I, it's that if you are in our life, we choose to put you there. So
We
be
choose to put you
happy.
there.
Be happy that you're in our
Happy,
lives.
nourish our friendship. Because the way we
um,
got your back, we're gonna have your back like nobody else is gonna have your back. Okay.
yes.
You know what? I will say
Now,
I'm gonna shout out somebody real
okay.
quick.
Yep.
Our friendship is developing into something wonderful, and I really love
Yeah.
where this is going.
I love
Um,
that.
I'm not gonna give out too much of the information, but
Mm,
his name is Jacob, and he wrote me like this really really nice paragraph for my birthday. It was like multiple paragraphs. It was like long when I opened up
mm,
my text messages. But what was cool about it was that he mentioned, that just that like this friendship was kind of unexpected but
Yeah.
well appreciated. And I will say like sometimes those are the best friendships that you can find because it's just it happens in an unexpected moment. Um, and you just genuinely want to be there for each other as friends, and you genuinely like how this person is and what they present to the room when they
Yeah.
walk into it. They're
And can I
genuinely a good
just
person.
yeah, and can I just add to that quickly? Speaking about energy,
Mhm.
I think when those people enter into your life, it's because you're open to like receiving that energy and that friendship within that moment. So, it just happened to be that you guys were both open to each other's friendship at the moment,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful.
hmm
Mm,
and
yeah.
we happen to meet like through an extension, and so it was just it vibed very well. So
Yeah.
with the positive friendships being said and the shout outs, let's get into when you got to cut it off. So when is a
Yes.
friendship
Yes.
911 when you have to call it out and
Oh,
walk away? In my situation, it was you disrespected my character and you disrespected my lifestyle. So I was going to cut you off and you were going to hit the streets like a hooker on a weekend. Okay. And you wasn't making no money. I'll tell you
mm.
that because you was the cheap one. All right.
You, you and I really are the same
Angry.
because, uh, um, you're angry. I'm not. No,
I'm very rich. No, I'm just kidding.
you and I really are the same in that. So I think one thing that a lot of my friends would say about me is that I'm super patient. I'm never mad. I'm never angry. But if there's one thing that literally like brings me to my point of like, nah, yo, hold me back, hold me
Oh, my
back.
poodle.
If there's hold my Fendi bag, I don't have a Fendi bag. I want a Fendi bag. Um, if there's one thing that brings me to that point, it's when someone makes an assumption or a judgment about my character that
hmm
is in their head and not
hmm
true at all. If you want to make an observation of my life, like tell me things that are true and that are factual, or things that you've observed and say, I observed this and this is how it makes me feel. If you've observed something about me and you're making that the truth in your mind, that is the one thing that pisses me off, and that I'm already getting mad. And that is when I then start to get to that point where I go, well, I don't know if I want you in my life because I
hmm
want people in my life that get to a point of like, hey, let's understand each other so that we can, if there's a mutual understanding, we're able to understand each other and then respect each other. So if
hmm
you're misunderstanding me because of the the
Outside
things
perspective.
the outside perspective that you've built up into your head,
Yeah.
then like there's never going to be a respect because there's no mutual level of understanding. And so that's like, yeah, 100% I agree with you. Like if someone is coming for your character, and if someone is, you know is like judging you for who you aren't, then I think that's a good time to cut someone off. But in saying that, I think as well, us as individuals, we also need to know ourselves. So I can't say that, you're coming for my character unless I know my character. Like, and again, when you're in your 30s, when you're a mature, handsome, beautiful man like myself, like, you would hope that you know yourself. And I
Mhm.
know myself. I know what I can give. I know the type of people I want around me. I know the type of person that I am. So if what you're saying about me doesn't align with who I know I am, then goodbye. Ciao.
100%.
Adios.
And here's the thing too, like sometimes you don't have to fight for a friendship. You don't have
Mm,
to fight for an explanation. You don't have to
mm,
fight to explain your stance. A form of self-care is just ending it sometimes with no
mm.
explanation, which you and I are known for, ghosting. But ghosting isn't necessarily a terrible thing. If you feel like this person is not mature enough to have this full-on conversation and you just need to get them out of your life, there is no need to explain anything further because
Mm.
here's the thing. I saw some quotes this weekend and I want to read
Yeah.
them to you.
Yeah.
So, because I want everybody to take care of themselves. Like one of my goals this year is to
Yes.
lead people to taking care of themselves. You know what I mean? We
Let me
don't have
just
to be codependent.
yes, let me just quickly add to that. Like at the end of the day, RuPaul, how are you going to care for someone else? How are you going to love someone else if you don't care and love for yourself? So, yeah.
100%. So the first one is, and forgive me because there are some curse words in some of these. Stop being so fucking forgiving. People know exactly what the fuck they're doing.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't know that I didn't. No, you did. You did because we're grown, especially because we're in our 30s now. You know what you've done that resonates well with people. You know what you haven't done that doesn't resonate well with people. So there's that. The
Mm-hmm.
other one is, well, there's a lot. Stop being the one who always makes the effort. Relax and let the ship sink. I've done that
Ooh.
a couple times in the past year. Like, I'm not gonna make the effort. I'm gonna let if this friendship dissipates, that's on you. That has nothing to do with me.
I think though you
Normalize,
have to make some effort. You have to make some effort. So when you get
yo,
to the point of like, I've been putting a lot of effort in and it's not
yes,
mutual, then you get to that point where you're like, okay, I've done what I can do. I'm gonna leave it up to you now.
yes. Like if my house is
Yeah.
always open to you and your house is not never open to me, and there's no excuse, like you don't have somebody dying there, there's not a mold problem, the foundation ain't crumbling, and we ain't invited to your house. Best believe you're gonna get cut off sooner than later.
Bye.
Normalize not trying harder when someone makes you feel unwanted. This is a form of self care that I feel like some
Mm,
people need to
mm.
know in relationships.
Yes, I was about to say
Okay.
dating as well. Dating as well. Mm.
Stay away from people who act like a victim in the problem they created. If they caused this problem, they are not the victim. They caused it. Learn how to read that.
Mm, yes.
Normalize leaving after the first red flag. I won't do it. You guys should. Because you know what? The gays love it. The gays love Six Flags. So if there's not multiples, it's not that bad. Um, Stop accepting apologies not accompanied by change in behavior.
Yeah.
Normalize not having an opinion on things you aren't properly informed about. So if you don't know Paul, don't have opinion on Paul, y'all. Be grateful that you slipped through the hands of people who had no idea how to hold you. That one cut deep, not in a bad way, but I was like, that was the moment where I was like, that makes sense. Why are we so thirsty for
Mm,
relationships, girl?
mm.
I'm all about money, right? Let me just pause for a second. I'm all about money. I take care of my money. I take care of my finances. If you put all this into perspective, if you are consistently trying to coddle, maintain, have this friendship, go out, pick up the bill. Think of the thousands of dollars you have spent on that,
Yes.
or hundreds
Yeah.
of dollars in 1 year you have spent on that, versus you could have bought yourself a ticket to Mexico if you're in Southern California. You could have got an
Mm,
Airbnb for an additional $300-400 for 4 nights,
mhm.
5 nights, and you could have had yourself a well vacation instead of trying to maintain this friendship and made
Mm.
international friends. So take that with a grain of salt. Learn to love the sound of your feet walking away from things that aren't meant for you. I'm almost done here. There's like a couple more.
Yeah,
Forgive
yeah.
people, Forgiving people in silence and never speaking to them again is a form of self care.
Mm.
You don't always necessarily, just because you don't talk to someone doesn't mean you have to hate them. You can
No,
very much be like, oh, I love this person, but the friendship wasn't working out and it clearly
yeah,
wasn't the space for us
exactly.
to
It's
coexist.
yeah, it got to that point because it was toxic and you've realized that. Yeah. Mm.
Manipulation is when they focus on how you reacted instead of how they treated you, aka gaslighting you, you Gen
Mm.
Zers. Okay,
Yeah. Do I know about
gaslight.
gaslighting?
You want to talk about it?
No, 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 no. I was like, I try not to say bad things about people. So you know
Amen.
who you are.
Ooh, if you know who you are, comment.
No, I don't even think he would listen to this. I hope he's not listening to this.
I hope he
Oh.
is listening to it because enemies paying attention to us are the best because you know why? We get all the energy.
Yes.
Um, Sometimes people pretend you're the bad person so they don't feel guilty on how they treated you.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Accountability feels like an attack when you're not ready to acknowledge how your behavior harms others. Lord, how many more are there? Um,
Pick like two of the best ones next.
I know.
Or post
Oh,
it.
no, no, this is the last one. I'm gonna do this. This is the
Yeah.
last one.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to miss me if you're the reason we don't talk anymore.
Love that one.
Period.
Love that one.
So, but I mean, it's Valentine's Day, so we want to spread love because you know what? I'm gonna be home all weekend without the M. Paul, did you just get that?
No, I didn't. I'm so sorry. I laughed and then
Girl,
well, when I laughed, I tried to like think it back, and I was like, wait, that's my oh no moment of the week.
girl, I'm gonna be home all weekend without the M.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Anyways, what is your oh no moment of the week?
Do you have one? Because I need to think of one.
I do have one. It just happened.
Okay.
Not only did it happen before the podcast, but it happened throughout the podcast.
Oh
We're
my
not going to show the
gosh.
front of this product because ain't nobody paying me to be an ambassador. Okay, but this protein shake specifically, sometimes it builds up at the bottom, so you guys shake it up a little bit. So I opened it, I tasted it, and I was like, oh, it needs to be shook. Screwed the cap back on. It fell off the table onto the floor. I picked it up, not realizing that the cap unscrewed a little bit, and so I shook it. Only to shake the protein all over, and it's still getting all over the place, which I shouldn't have done that. Only to take it all over my computer. And then I guess it got stuck in the crevices of the lid. So I drank it, I put the lid back on, and then it fell all over me. And that's what, like, whoever's watching this, you can see me moving like this. I was wiping myself up because I have to catch a flight in about an hour or so. And I'm sitting here in my underwear because my bag is packed and I have my, like, it's a t shirt and these underwear. We are very COVID Zoom times right now. And,
COVID
like,
time.
my flight outfit is ready to go. Thank God I didn't have it on because I would have spilled my protein all over it.
Okay.
Oh my God. I have another one.
Okay,
Yo,
you
I'm
go.
this
And
one, I'm
I
ashamed of
just
myself.
thought of one. Yeah.
I'll go really quick.
Yeah.
So my cousins came over for my birthday
Yes.
and everything was fine. We were taking drinks at the house, a couple shots. We had some food, some wings, some nuggets, and we get to the bar. We run into some friends at the bar. They buy me drinks. Well, this bar specifically, the owner loves to bartend, and the owner loves to do this. Oh my gosh, how's your weekend going?
Mm.
Going,
Gay
oh, it's your
for.
birthday. La la la
Gay
la la la.
for.
Boom.
Yeah.
Soda water. What?
Ah.
So I had three in my hands. Mind you, I was good. We were so
Yeah.
good. Girl.
That video you sent me? Yeah, you were good.
So I was wasted. I had to get like walked in by two people, which I'm not very far from the bar, but I had to get walked home arm in arm so that I wouldn't fall over and bust my face. Girl, I threw up no less than 6 times. Like my collarbone hurt so bad. Like I understand now why my dad stopped drinking in 2000 because he had like
Yeah.
I was hung over for 36 hours and I have no interest in drinking alcohol for the near future. And I already don't drink like that. Like I only drink on Halloween, New Year's, and like maybe 4th of July and Pride. But like I really don't drink. I'm not the type to come home and just pop open a glass of wine or anything. Not even
Yeah,
with dinners.
no,
My
no.
oh no moment of the week is 30. The end of 32 was very rough,
Oh, don't
very
tell me
rough
that. I'm literally at the end of my
because
32s.
I was hurling my life away. I think I purged the rest of 2024 out of me. So 33 is looking great, y'all. It's looking good. What is your oh no moment of the week?
So the first oh no moment of the week I literally just thought of right now, and it's that yes, I've been listening to you, but I've also been checking myself out in the video. Literally, if you watch this, okay, you guys need to watch us on YouTube so that you can watch me staring at myself while Russell's like listing off all the things about a toxic friendship. And so the second oh no moment of the week is last weekend, the reason why last weekend's episode was pre-recorded was because I was in Melbourne, and I was in Melbourne for Pride. They've got their Pride Festival, which is called Midsummer. So I was there visiting one of my besties, Bruno. Love you, Bruno. Um, so I was in Melbourne visiting Bruno, as well as other besties, Steph, Irel, love you guys. Um, but we went to this house party, and we were like, okay, let's get, a 20 pack of drinks to bring to this house party. So we bring these drinks to this house party, and this girl like just joins our circle, and she's like, Happy Pride. Are you guys coming to the festival tomorrow? And we were like, yeah. And she's like, what are you wearing? And then I was like, I'm gonna just wear like a tight tank top and like some denim shorts. And she's like, yeah, I don't know what to wear. Anyway, do you think I could like just take one of these drinks right here? And then I was like, oh, those are actually our drinks. Like they're actually ours, and we only have enough for us. And then she goes, it'll be our secret. Winks at me, and then takes the drink
Ew.
and walks off.
I would have tripped her.
So then the rest of the night, we were taking other people's drinks.
Okay, you win, you win, you win. Maybe see, maybe I have a little bit more aggressive, and I just should be. I just think more like that. Like I'm gonna just steal everybody else's drink.
Yeah. So my Ono moment of the week was when I told this girl, I'm sorry, that those are our drinks. And she goes, I won't tell if you won't tell.
Oh God,
Oh my
girl.
gosh. Anyway, we're gay, and I gotta go to the gym, man. I gotta
Okay, so
get
we need to say goodbye, but bye. See you later.
bye.